This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. What a special start to this morning's sunrise safari. The sun is not out, but we do have a brand new Wildebeest calf on quarantine that belongs to the herd that we always see here. This is so exciting. You can just see it above the long grass. We've been sitting here. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time with this calf and then bumble today and see whatever we can find out here in the bush. So everyone, get ready. It's that time of day for your live safari through the African bush. The rest of the herd have joined. Let's just see if we can get one more visual of the small little calf here. There you go. You just see this short little head popping up. The wildebeest herd on quarantine, we know them very, very well. They've really not been successful this year. They've suffered from a lot of loss. So this is great news that there's a brand new little addition to the herd. Happiness. My name is Lauren and I do have Simon on camera today. And we're just going to spend a few minutes here to try and see if we can get a glimpse of it. Wildebeest calves are very, very cute and, well, they're prime pickings for the predators, I'm afraid. So it's great to have you all on board. It's an absolute pleasure. Of course, we'll be coming to you from various different locations across South Africa today. This is just Djuma Private Game Reserve. There are many other exciting environments to show you. But please do talk to us. If you're on Twitter, use the hashtag WildEarth. If you're on YouTube, use that @FC. Or kids, if you're under 18, please do email us. And that address is kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. We want to hear from everybody. And there's another option. Please do head over to the WildEarth website, go to the live safari page, and you can submit your questions there. Not just questions, comments too. Make your comments as funny as possible. It makes us laugh out here. It's not easy. But at least this morning it's very pleasant. It's overcast, 22 degrees Celsius and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Sir 50, I know, nothing like seeing a new addition. This is a late calf though. This is very late in comparison to last year. And obviously some of the mothers already gave birth, sort of at the start of December. Look at that. Oh, just happiness bouncing through the long grass. But yes, unfortunately, a lot of them didn't make it. And, well, I mean, if the herd don't stick together, it really is easy pickings for the predator. And we watched Swazi and Ndebele, the two hyenas, actually chase after a wildebeest calf one day, which was rather sad. But this one is definitely a new addition. I was alerted to its presence yesterday. But by the time I got to quarantine, unfortunately, it was too late. Wildebeest calves are just the sweetest. They are so sweet. They look nothing like the adults. They've got those long, sort of gangly legs and short bodies. But they're born remarkably precocial, just like the impala. They've got to hit the ground running, if you like. 250-day pregnancy. And then when they've arrived, they hit the ground running because they have to. Now, I have a funny feeling we're missing a precious moment here, but sadly, the grass is so long we will not see otherwise. The mothers normally only give birth to one calf at a time. What a perfect start to the morning. I'm very, very happy with that. We are now going to bumble to the hyena den, but we're going to send you guys across to Andrew to say good morning.
Good luck, Lauren. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Juma Private Game Reserve here in Sabi Sands, Lowfield. As you can see down there, looks like it must be a heart, a hyena that is probably still stationary where here was a Dingana carcass since a few days ago. My name is Andrew. On camera, I have Dove this morning. So we decided to check because nothing on top of the tree there, which to me looks like a Dingana. He probably finished it, whatever it was. When I was in Pala, but there's no such a carcass there left. But the hyena, they're very passionate animals. They would wait for something to happen. And for hyena being there, maybe he could be around also, but no visual of him right now. So yeah, it could be around where we're not sure where he is right now. Tall grasses around here. And it's too thicket for us to observe around. Or he could be gone, that hyena still around, hoping for anything. And such a beautiful sound in this riverine here. All the work-harder bird, and also looks like a bearded woodpecker knocking the wood on the distances. It was so cool for Tingana to spend some days here with us, finishing off that the impala there where he was actually hosting that kill for the last few days. So all you see is the flies taking place is because there's still some smellies around in it. Looks like little legs hanging up there. But now nothing much really left. There's a chance that Tingana have moved also. But yeah, wherever he is, it's probably still a little bit of a span of a belly. Maybe he's just resting now or moving. It's still actually very good temperature for leopards to exercise. So I'm gonna check around here. See if we bump on him or find him. I'm going to be sending you across to Ngala for them to say hello to everybody.
Good morning and welcome to andBeyond Ngala, where we have found a martial eagle in the tree. He's been sitting here for quite some time, which is really nice, not flying off, and what a beautiful silhouette. So nice seeing that little crest. You can see quite a thick-set bill with a sharp edge. You can see his legs there. You can see the talons if you look closely. Sitting on this dead tree, overlooking the riverbed. So, my name is Marna, and with me behind the camera is BK this morning. And we are looking for, well, anything really this morning. We're hoping to find more cats. Like yesterday we found those 2 Ross males, hoping to see if we can find the rest of the pride. We were just saying we heard some elephants further along this riverbed. It sounded like they were breaking trees. It really sounded like almost like a gunshot. It was definitely a tree breaking though. So we'll go investigate there a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to watch this martial eagle. Quite a peaceful scene. If you look closely, you can actually see, I know it's very difficult from this angle to see color because of the lighting, but you can actually see the white leg. Now, these martial eagles have white chests, and then the legs, or the feathers on the legs, are white as well, and they've got little brown spots all over the chest and the leg. So you can actually see a few of those little brown spots there. And then, like I mentioned, the crest, and then they also have a prominent yellow eye. Now, the only thing you could really mistake this eagle for is a black-chested snake eagle. They are slightly smaller compared to these martial eagles, and also have that white chest and white all the way down to the talons, the feathers on the legs as well. Also prominent yellow eye, but the big difference is that they don't have brown spots on the chest. Also a much longer tail, and then obviously the size. Right, we're going to continue along the riverbed, and we're going to send you off to Tswalu.
Good morning and welcome to Tswalu. Look at what we've got this morning. The color of the sky is just painted beautiful pinks and blues. It's 21 degrees, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and a little bit windy, but you're with me, Deirdre, and we have Craig on camera today. Our plan this morning, we're hoping with the wind that the little meerkats will pop out. I know you haven't had a meerkat fix for about a week at least, so we're going to see if we can find one of the groups of meerkats for you. But with this wind, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we're always up for a challenge. Hey, Craig. Just beautiful. So no rain overnight, but some more rain for us forecast in the middle of the day, which is perfect. Either side of WildEarth. So please do send us your questions at #WildEarth and put @FC in front of the question if you'd like to engage with us. So we're going to move on. We've got a little while to go to get towards where the meerkats are. Hopefully we see you there.
How insane is that animal?
This is out of this world. Fantastic. Good, Mama.
Wow, what a way to start off.
It's just such an incredible privilege to be out here. It just keeps on delivering.
There you go, there you go. Heart is pumping right now.
3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Look at this, everybody. We've got a live kill.
The cock's holding the tail. It's holding tight. Lucky Wildebeest.
There's nowhere to go.
This is a disaster in the making.
Something that I have never seen before in my entire life that you are now watching live.
My heart is in my mouth, everybody.
Look at this. It's gonna make it. It's going, it's going.
This is just too magical. Hi, little guys. That's great, isn't it? Look at that. Scuba Steve has got a friend.
You've got a friend in me.
It couldn't be a better morning. This is just too special.
Oh my goodness, we've got a turtle.
How epic is the fact that we're coming to you live from the Chobe River?
It's the most incredible feeling to be here. This is live, and we're in Rwanda. This is a very, very different adventure, charged with emotion.
I did not think I would ever face my fears like this.
A very good morning here from andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We just found these two rhinos. We almost drove right past these two white rhinos as they are sleeping. Oh, they're actually starting to wake up a little bit because there is a lot of alarm calls that we can hear in the distance of impalas and monkeys, and we're going to go have a look there soon. But let's have a look at these two white rhinos for now. My name is Dewald, and behind the camera we've got OD, and we are actually coming to this area not particularly looking for certain animals, just looking if we can find anything really. These rhinos have just gotten up. There's even a warthog that is coming a little bit towards them. Looks like two young-ish rhinos that have probably recently left their mother or so, looking at the size of them, and that are sticking together for some companionship. Might hear a helicopter in the distance. Might be doing some conservation work on Phinda today. They're coming straight towards us now. These rhinos are actually listening straight towards where the alarm calls were coming from earlier. His tail's curling up, a little bit nervous. Oh, they're coming straight towards us. I'm gonna keep my voice nice and low and see if they get very close to us. The one on the left hand side, ears just pointing straight ahead of it. I think they've just realized that we are here. You can still hear the monkey's alarm calling. See where this one on the left hand side is listening to? That's where the alarm calls were coming from. And at first, Odie and I didn't know what was happening, because I think when the alarm calls of the impalas were happening, it was dancing around the hills and mountains here, and it sounded very weird. But definitely woke these two rhinos up. They're settling down for a little bit now, it seems. See if these rhinos get a bit closer to us. One's still curling his tail up. But while we see where these rhinos go, we'll also send you over to Andrew, that's got some spots for the day.
Thanks, Devil. Good luck with these rhinos. Here we got it again. With Ngala the Leopard. So he's now away from that last spot where the killer was. And the hyena is still lying down there. Just actually find himself in this beautiful open patch here. Beautiful maruna tree here. He just jumped down when he got down here. So there's monkey also calling in the background, where they've probably seen him from that distance. So there he went to pick up an older bone. I'm not sure what was it, the animal, but this is why he was crunching in that. So it's cool that he's been in this area for, 3 days. So it's not bad. Anyway, what makes them stay longer is just when they're big. They kill big prey species, such as impalas. And I was able to spend time there, feed on that until it's done. Like this morning, I think he's just going to decide to move. So facility, he said Dukes look fantastic. Yeah, he's actually looking very good, especially with this sunrise coming from the background and all his face is shining right now. So I'm gonna try stick with him. So there's quite a few vehicles coming this way, but we still got him here. So I'm gonna try follow him behind while I'm sending you across to Lauren with the hyena on the den.
So apparently Ribbon is with Andrew. That makes a lot of sense in my wondering where Miss Ribbon is. She's with Chingana. It was Hart that was with Chingana previously. So she's obviously giving up, and Ribbon has come in, attracted to the scent. There's an incredible pong in that area, and it's really not pleasant. That carcass is now very, very old and swarming with flies. No sign of June's little mini June yet, but I am almost certain once she's finished drinking, she'll pop her little head up. And we say she, we think it's a she, or at least I think it's a she. But I don't want to conclusively say yet. When they're this young, it's a little bit sort of premature to guess the sex. But we just need to keep spending time with it, I hate saying it, and hopefully determine the sex very, very shortly. And Tima's still here, she's gone back to sleep. We will move around to see her very, very shortly. We've just got some cubs around our car. It's the favourite part of their day, to come and smell all the wonderful mechanical smells. Maybe they are the reason that Wendy broke. No, I'm joking. Just curious about Intima. All of a sudden, she started to show very, very sort of prominent, pronounced mammary glands. And this is normally a sign of pregnancy or lactation. And because Intima is, in fact, Ribbon's daughter, she's in a very good position in the clan. She's went from probably being quite low ranked to all of a sudden having a really, really good position. And she's coming up for 4 next month. I didn't catch that name, but 1. You're looking at it. There can only be 1 active den at a time. And that's the active one. The active one will only be the one that the hyenas are at. And they're obviously at this one, which is Philemon's den number 3. And for some reason, they've just stayed at this one for a really long time. It has actually surprised me. I would have said they would have moved by now and given the chance for the den to sort of dry out and, you know, flush out all the nasty smells and parasites that's probably building up in there. Considering the fact that there's 6 cubs of different ages, I have to say I am shocked that they're still using this one. But you will only see active den for the den that they are using. So they have a network of mounds that they can use, but only 1 will be active at a time unless there's a mother using a natal den. That will also be termed active, but we don't know of any other natal dens. And that goes on what I was saying about Intima. I was really suspicious about her for a while, but I haven't seen any other dens that look like they're being used by hyenas. And Tima spends a lot of time here. I am confused about her. But if there's a natal den, then that would also be classified as active. This is the communal den, where everybody comes. Everybody sort of spends time, socializes, the cubs are all together. But there will only be 1 active one. So if they move, then this one will become deactivated, if you like, and then the one that they move to will be the active den. Okay, I think we may get views of this cub soon, so we're going to sit tight. But for now, we're going to send you across to another very active location.
Have a look at this impala ram here. He's seen something. I wonder what it is. Have a look at that. So remember those alarm calls we were talking about? This female cheetah came out of nowhere and caught an impala lamb. There was a big herd of impala that was standing on the hillside here. And we spotted her from far away. And she caught this impala lamb literally minutes ago. We must have just missed it. You can see she's still panting with her mouth open. Can't believe how close this impala ram is to her. Oh, she's a little bit skittish after catching an impala lamb like that. And with all the sounds that the impalas have made, she has to be very careful for any other predators that might come closer because of the calls. Look at this. Oh, this impala ram is still alarm calling to her. He's quite confident with his big horns. And she's just keeping an eye on him. She was actually showing a little bit of interest in him earlier. Let's see if she starts feeding. Impala ram still calling. Christopher, you are saying very good work to the cheetah. Indeed, it is such good work, and what a nice story. If this is the right cheetah that I'm thinking of, if you look closely, you'll see she's got a collar on her. And this female was actually an orphaned female and kind of raised in captivity because of her mother being killed in a snare, and been released onto Phinda to rehabilitate her, and she's obviously now hunting by herself, and she has completely integrated into the reserve, and she's moved actually quite a long distance from where she was rehabilitated into the reserve, and she's doing super, super well. This is awesome, awesome stuff. She's still panting a little bit, but not too much, which tells me that she maybe didn't chase too far. Maybe she was just lying down here in a dip or so and trying to sleep for the night, and then these impalas come closer and closer, and she maybe just pounced on the youngster. Might just hear one of the conservation vehicles coming to have a look at the cheetah and see how she's doing. How incredible is it having this impala ram so close to this female cheetah? Karen, you're asking if cheetahs rest before they eat. Indeed they do, especially the ones that hunt, if there's more than one cheetah. Especially because when they hunt, obviously use a lot of energy, and they go out of breath, and they overheat very quickly if they need to run a bit of a distance or so. So catching their breath before they start eating, because once they start eating and open that carcass, they need to feed as much as they possibly can to avoid attracting as many predators. And she's also, while she's lying down like this, look at her head looking around, trying to see if she can spot anything around her after the commotion, so making sure that there's no other predators that are around. So she wants to make it as safe as possible for herself before she eats. So resting a little bit, but also making sure that it is safe around her. Have a look at this impala ram and look at the foam. Oh, he's still on calling. See if we can point it out to you, but look at the foam that is on his mouth that is actually forming from him calling like this. And he's salivating after running probably a little bit and being tired. You can still see the cheetah, but she's not moving around too much. So look how he's going closer a little bit, 1 or 2 steps just to investigate. She's keeping an eye on him though. And you're asking if the ram would actually charge her. No, I don't think so. He would be too scared for that. He's very confident though, but he would only defend himself if she actually comes for him. So when it's like this, the ram is probably keeping an eye on her only, and will run away if she makes any sudden movements towards him. So he will only use those horns and defend himself if she actually comes for him. But his first response would be to run away if she should come any closer or so. How incredible is that sound? So this is the sound that we heard far in the distance while we were looking at those rhinos earlier. This cheetah with the impala lamb is now in the sun. You can see that little patch of sun just over her, We are right next to a rocky outcrop that's making quite a bit of shade here, so I'm hoping that she actually drags the carcass into the shade a little bit, but we'll see. She's still very wary of what's going on around her. Hopefully this impala and the monkeys stop alarm calling and the impala moves away soon. Trish, you're saying it's pretty cool to see this interaction. Yeah, it is awesome. We are so happy that there's one impala that's sticking around. He got cut off from the rest of the herd, and I think that's why he's nervous to go in the opposite direction. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's actually standing straight ahead of us. Still keeping an eye on her. What a beautiful ram it is. There were so many impalas alarm calling, and it was such a big herd that it was basically just one constant snorting sound going on. Odie explained it almost as an engine that was running in the background. We were trying to figure out what it was, and then we realized it was that massive herd of impala that was here. Okay, he's moving off now. Look at the foam on his mouth there as he's calling, and the stress making him foam up at the mouth. He's licking it a little bit. It's almost like he loses interest of it every now and then catches the scent and sees what it looks like. Okay, there it's like she's starting to go closer to the carcass as well. I think she's waiting for this impala ram to move off as well. But the fact that she's sitting upright now and staring in the distance, I wonder if she's getting ready to have a bite. Yeah, look how she's going slowly down with her head as well. I'm gonna see if I can get my camera out. Once she starts picking that carcass up, I'm gonna get some good photos. Oh, there she goes. Oh no, don't go away from us. I think she's taking it out of the eyesight of this impala ram. She's actually gone down into the dip at the bottom there. I'm sure you can still see her head just sticking out above the little hill there. But we're going to see if we can reposition a little bit. Maybe we'll get a view of her feeding and see what she gets up to.
Good luck, Devil. So we're looking at the now Warbeards eagles, 2 pair of them sitting in that dry wood. So now we have to leave that sighting of our leopard in Ghana, because he just went lie down in falling tree where it's tall grasses and no visuals. So those cows that they were very much responding to it, they delayed. So we're gonna take a time, give him a little bit of time. If maybe he comes out of that bush, at least we know where he is. So maybe later we're just gonna check on him, but he probably maybe spend time there since he's got a full belly. Now Wildebeest eagles. They're one of dogs. Okay, just got an update. About the dog. Just gonna see if we're gonna go to the dog. Or Lauren, can I go to the dog? Okay. It looks Lauren going to the dog. Okay, Lauren's gonna respond to the dog. We're gonna stick with the Wildebeest eagle, yeah? Or otherwise we're gonna search for something else. See what we're gonna find.
We are racing somewhere, everyone. The hyena den situation remains the same, and because it's cool, we'll definitely pop back if we can, but I am currently racing around the corner to try and see if we can get some dogs for you. Don't know if we'll be successful, but we shall try. Are you holding on nice and tight, Simon? Ferrari Safari. Through a windy road is not easy, but they're just here. I don't know what pack, I don't know who they are, but let's see if we can try and get them for you. My driving skills are, well, let's just say, have remarkably improved since I first joined Juma. My father does not believe me, but I am a good driver these days. I have so much practice out here. Right, this road is bumpy, Si. Hold on. In fact, all the roads are bumpy. We've still got a little bit to go. I'm just going to put my foot down and hope that we catch them. Struggling to hear, but I think, LP, you said you gotta love the Ferrari Safaris. Oh yes, but the wind is blowing so... You've gotta love them. You've gotta concentrate as well. But I'm pretty sure they're... let's see if we can catch them. If they're highly mobile, then unfortunately we may not. But let's try. We would definitely get there a lot quicker if the roads were not so bumpy. But as far as I know, they're just down here at Chelapan. So we're going to try and catch them. Our cars do us very proud, to say the least. We put them through a lot. Yeah, we're way behind them, I'm afraid. So we're not. They were just here. That's how fast they've moved. So I'm going to need to get on this radio and try and find them. We're definitely behind them. Abel, come in.
Okay.
Is that you saying they're at Gowrie Dam now?
Pushing over there now, eh?
Copy, I'm behind you guys on Twin Dams Road.
Copy.
So they may actually appear on the dam cam before we will get them. So wish me luck, everyone. I'm going to continue and hopefully we'll manage to show you these Madash.
This female cheetah is still down at the dip there, and she keeps on going down every now and then picking her head up, and we can just see her head sticking out a little bit. But we'll see if we can keep a view on her, because we are hoping that the sun is baking her there and that she'll try and move that carcass towards some shade, which is where we are. So hopefully she does that. You can see she's looking around quite a lot now. So we are hoping that she will try and move into the shade. But she's looking around a lot to make sure there's no predators or anything that comes closer to us or to her. There, she's just gone down now. We are going to send you over to Juma.
We've got them. We can smell them, that's for sure. No idea what pack it is, but I can see a pup with a slight limp. So that makes me think it could be the Pungwe pack, but I don't know. I'll need expert help from our incredible viewers. Ooh, you smell that, Simon? There's nothing quite like a morning odour of wild dogs in your nostrils. See, this pup's limping, and I know one of the pups from the Pungwe pack has a severe limp. So I'm just going to try and get out of the way. There's another vehicle here. We call it leapfrogging. So someone goes with the animals for a little while, then we pull over, then the other one comes up. Just to try and be fair to everybody. But they're heading for the jam can, which means it very possibly is going to open up and we'll get good views of them. For me, the wild dog scent is the strongest in the bush. Stronger than hyena, stronger than lions. It's very, very strong. I wonder if they've made a kill already. I mean, it's 6:15 in the morning. The sun's been up for quite a while, so it's very possible that they've made a kill. Hello, guys. Thank you, James Richard. You said it's definitely the Pungwe pack. I haven't been able to identify it myself, but I would have guessed just from that one puppy limping. Thanks, Abel. Okay, we're getting to jump ahead in the game of leapfrog here. So this is the Pungwe pack. We've only really recently got to know this pack, to be honest. They were denning on the Mangaletti with their puppies. They had 12 puppies, I think, and then they suffered loss, but not much. They've done very, very well. This is what we would call an incredibly successful pack. And once they finish denning, that's their only sedentary period. Then they're completely nomadic after that, almost like a vagabonds. And they came into Juma. And we got to know this pack really, really well. We also have the Hamilton's pack, a very large pack, the Sands pack, the Investic Breakaway pack. They're heading straight for quarantine. Oh no, oh no. I hope that wildebeest calf is definitely moved off. Abel, I'm going to drive round and meet you on quarantine. Megan, yes, it's such a treat. Makes it a very, very busy morning. I'm just going to do a wider loop. I sometimes don't like always trailing behind animals. So once again, Ferrari Safari. Dogs are such a treat. And you know you've got to move fast or you're not going to get them. I remember Simon's face at his first Ferrari Safari. The cameramen have got to hold on tight. Oh dear, Franklin. quarantine's perfect, or it used to be perfect. I mean, the grass is very, very long now, so that can keep the dogs hidden, can work to their advantage, but it's also a lot more work for them to hunt. I'm gonna have to use a lot more energy to get over this long grass. But they're heading straight in the direction of the Wildebeest. They should be popping out here. This is Tumbeta, if they've not taken a detour. Abel, come in.
Stop there. It was more in the bush here, coming to your way, more on the road. Just stop there. They're coming there.
Copy. Thanks, Abel. Okay, they're coming. Let's try and position ourselves so we're not blocking their path, but we're going to get lovely views of the entire pack walking towards us. I don't see them there yet. But they move great distances very fast. Let's just have a look and see what prey species are around us. I think there's some impala. I don't see the wildebeest. But, you know dogs, they hunt quick, they hunt fast, and they've got between an 18 and 85% success rate. I don't see them. They're probably just going to bound out of nowhere, I would imagine.
And I'll give you space now, so they're approaching quarantine. I'll let you know.
Now, one of my least favorite South Africanisms, because I don't understand it. I'm Scottish. Now is now, which means now. But in South Africa, they have many different versions of now. You would think I would know it better, but I don't. Also, hyenas. They put an H in there. Okay, we've got the dogs. Gwyn, do you want to stay with us? Now they're going to come straight, and just quarantine will be their hunting grounds, I would imagine. And although it's sometimes it's difficult to watch a wild dog hunt, it's also over very fast. It's very, very fast. And they're specialized in that. They're specialized in running fast, hunting fast, because they haven't got the time. They can't afford to take time when there's scavengers like hyenas around, leopards around, lions around. They can't afford to just take their time. It's eat and move. Get on the move as quick as you can. There's a dog right in front of the car, Simon. They're all coming this way. Hello, guys. Oh, this is the one with the funny lip you see over here. She's got part of her upper lip missing. It's very sweet. The Pungwe pack know quarantine very well. They know it delivers, so they're stopping and looking to see what they can see right in front of our car. Listening, smelling, looking, using all their senses to see who makes the decision. Normally the pups just lie down. They try to It's exhausting for them. It's exhausting being wild doggies. Okay, this is one of the males running by here. I don't see any blood on them. Very often wild dogs will have blood on their fur, which normally tells you they've made a kill already, but I don't see that. They're also very habituated to vehicles. The dogs will come right round your vehicle. They're not scared or timid or they'll come and have a sniff. This one here is having a very good sniff at us, aren't you? I like it when they take these breather moments. You can just sit with them and enjoy their beauty. Okay, so we're going to try and stay with the Pungwe pack as long as we can, and for now we're going to send you across to Mike with his wildebeest.
So, whereas those dogs, those wild dogs that Lauren had, were busy chasing things, we've got other animals chasing things. This wildebeest is having the best time frolicking and playing with these young impala. It's really funny. The impalas keep bunching up and coming towards this wildebeest, and then it pretends to ignore them, then all of a sudden rushes forward and chases them a bit. It's very cute to watch. I'm sure it's playful behavior. And these impalas and this wildebeest are together all the time here on zebra clearings. It's an absolute pleasure to watch them enjoying themselves on a nice cool morning. Bit of a breeze. Hopefully there's nothing that's going to disrupt their playful behavior. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Anderson. Behind the camera we've got Gert, and you've joined us at Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy, where we've stopped here just on zebra clearings because there are lots of tracks in the area. There's some lion tracks from last night. There's some leopard tracks as well in the area. So we're just sort of sitting here. We heard some baboons alarming a little bit earlier. Just sort of sitting and waiting to see if there's anything that's around here. We've lost the tracks of that lion somewhere close to this area. And being that there is a wildebeest and all these impalas in this clearing, it might be that this lioness is somewhere around this area. It's a good enough place for us to start. Of course, it's always wonderful to watch interactions between different species. You can see those young impala just creeping in from the right, as well as a whole bunch just to the left of that wildebeest. And they've been really playing. They've been pushing it. The young impalas have been headbutting each other, running back and forth. And that old male wildebeest, who's the territorial wildebeest in this area, our students have affectionately named him Joe, Old Joe. He just sits here in this clearing the whole day, spends a lot of time with this herd of impala, because of course as a single wildebeest it's very vulnerable to predators. It can't look everywhere at once. So when it spends time with these impala, it means there's more chance for it to stay safe. Right now taking a moment to feed, but I'm sure it's got its eye on these youngsters. It seems to keep lulling them into a false sense of security. The youngsters come and investigate. They're very curious. They come right up to the wildebeest, and then it just dashes out and chases them. This is the kind of behavior we see often in the morning. These impalas have been standing really, really still the whole night, trying not to, attract the attention of any predators. The morning comes and it's just a lot of energy. Look at that. Look at these young impala cartwheeling and jumping and spinning. I think it's just a lot of energy. All of this is, these animals are high energy things. They have to be able to run and sprint at a moment's notice if there's a predator. So it's also important to stretch and warm up their muscles. So should there be a need, they're ready to go. course, is the big ram. Keeps this whole herd safe. Tammy, I'm almost certain that these impalas are very happy to be far, far away from any predators. Hopefully, the dogs especially. Wild dogs are expert impala hunters. Remember, these impalas are bunched up in this clearing here to use their senses so they can spot a predator, and the predator won't have the element of surprise, which in most cases would mean that the hunt will be unsuccessful. But wild dogs' hunting strategy means that they will see impalas and just start chasing them. Remember, they've got incredible stamina. So the impalas don't want to see wild dogs because the whole defensive strategy, the whole idea behind having lots of eyes and ears basically means nothing, because the wild dogs will chase them nonetheless. I haven't seen the dogs around here for a little while, and the ones that Lauren have are quite far away. Unlikely that those ones will make their way all the way over this side. Hopefully these impalas will be safe, at least for this morning. We did see that one impala yesterday, which wasn't in such a great position. It managed to climb itself up into a tree, which of course means a leopard had caught it. But in the meantime, let's send you back over to Lauren with the wild dogs that are on the move.
We've just had every single dog walk by the car. Oh, I love it when that happens, but they're moving fast. They're starting to run now, I'm afraid. Now, quarantine's been given the all clear for off-roading because it's high up on the Katina, which means all the water is drained down into the sort of seep lines, the drainage lines, the Mulwati. There's definitely some impala staggered around. We can see them. Right, I'm going to pull up here, Sai. Are you ready? There we go. I love it when you see the pack running together like that. So coordinated. When they put their head down like that, their ears a little bit flatter. They're trying to go into, not stalk mode, but, oh, there's impala here. Okay, I'm trying to keep my eye on where everybody is. The impala haven't seen them. I'm biting my nails. There's the impala. The impala are looking, they're suspicious, but they don't know yet. I think the grass is too long because when impala spot dogs, they don't stand their ground. They really don't, they run. They're running, dogs are running, they've seen them. That speed is remarkable. Even the puppy with the injuries running. Okay, Sai, I'm going to go forward. Some have gone this way, some have gone this way. They've split. And I can't drive. There's a wildebeest. Oh, dearie me. Okay. I've got one of the dogs here. They're all running this way. Because it's such a large pack, splitting's not a problem. They can actually make 2 kills. You see that one? Yeah. Oh goodness, there's dogs everywhere. They're creating mass panic. I hope that the wildebeest herd have sort of tightly packed around that calf. It's amazing how quickly you lose them. And they just appear out of nowhere. Okay, everyone, let's try and keep up with them. They're heading right to the western edge. I can see dogs absolutely miles away. And this is how they hunt. They hunt by coursing. Just run, 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 run. There's no stalking, there's no ambush, there's no trying to lie in wait. Nothing like a lion or a leopard. They've got an impala. Dogs have came from this corner to try and... Oh, the dog's there right next to the impala. It's stotting for miles. I don't think they're going to go for it. That was the perfect opportunity. They've all scattered, which means it just creates panic in all the impala. They scatter. Everybody scatters, and that's how the dogs end up getting lucky. Lee, I couldn't possibly say that the wildebeest gathered. The herd's just here. Simon can quickly show you. That's the herd. I can't see the calf, though. I think the grass is just a bit too long. But we need to move in order to follow the dogs. We may not be able to stay with them too long. Who knows? I'll do my very best. There's dogs streaming in from everywhere. You see how they have to sort of jump over the long grass? Although it means the impala don't spot them as quickly, it's also exhausting for them. I don't know where the other adults have gone. And our camp is just 50 meters in front of these dogs. Okay, Sai, you ready? No rest for the wicked. Okay, hold on, Sai. Just got to be careful you don't hit any potholes. That would not be fun or sensible. There's the wildebeest right there. They're running towards the wildebeest. Now, as long as the adults stay tightly packed around the calf, it should be okay. If they panic, then they're in trouble. I can see the calf. It's right there. It's okay. It's got adults around it. I think the dogs could possibly be heading into the drainage. And this is the Rebecca's drainage. And it's impossible. If they head in there, we're most likely going to lose them. I think they've gone in. Nigel, let me know if you pick up any other dogs. I think they've gone into the drainage. Okay, I think for now, most of the pack have gone into the drainage line. Doesn't mean they won't pop back up again.
They go into the drainage line. We're now going Zoe's Road.
Johan, have you got them on Zoe's, did you say?
No, I think I'm going to try to wait for them at Zoe's.
Copy. I'm going to stay on the western edge. Okay, there's 3 vehicles here, all positioning ourselves to see if they come back out again. But for now, we don't have the dogs. Oh, my heart's racing, as it always does. Thank goodness we had that jet fuel coffee, huh, Simon? So I'm going to sit tight here and hopefully the dogs will return.
Do you dream of traveling to a far-flung wilderness location where life continues as normal? A place where you can escape to nature and breathe. If you become a WildEarth explorer, then this could soon become a reality. Subscribe today and stand a chance to win regular travel prizes. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. For the month of January 2021, we are offering a chance to win a unique WildEarth expedition to the magnificent Tswalu Kalahari. From the ancient quartzite Koranenberg Mountains to the southern Kalahari's red sand dunes, Tswalu offers what travelers crave most: space and time. The winner will explore this landscape in a vehicle, on foot, or on horseback, with a chance to go behind the scenes with WildEarth and of course meet the meerkats. The prize includes a 3-night stay for you and a friend at the luxury Motse Lodge, including flights from either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Open to all WildEarth explorers who have signed up before the end of January 2021. Terms and conditions apply. The new year has arrived, and with it comes all kinds of other new beginnings. From hyena cubs to meerkat pups, the bush is full of new life. If you want to find out more, then sign up to be an explorer and join our New Beginnings Fireside Chat. Tristan and Steve will be looking at what's new here in the wilderness as we enter 2021. Join them on the 17th of January, straight after the Sunset Safari.
So we have found our lions. So coming from the riverbed, we went onto a road that runs parallel to the river, and we actually heard the lions roaring. Headed straight in that direction, found some tracks, and then luckily found them already sleeping, most of them, in the clearing here. You can see one of the Ross males there. We've got the other Ross male here as well. He's just behind the vehicle. And then the mother of this cub, and then the other cubs with her as well. They're laying in the road. But if you tuned in yesterday morning, you'll know that we found the Ross males, and I guess round about this time as well, and they were also already sleeping, which is the case now as well. So nice and cool. There's a bit of cloud cover, so you'd think that they'd still be active. At least the cubs are here. That's always a nice thing, you know, when the cubs are around. They're usually either playing or they'll have their heads up walking around. The cubs are very inquisitive. So what we're looking at the moment is the young male. And for those of you that watched the show during South Africa's hard lockdown, you'll know that these are the youngsters that were actually found live on the show in April. And by then, they were probably around 2 or 3 weeks old. So they saw the female carrying the cubs across the riverbed. So they're about 9-10 months old at the moment. Look how big those front paws of his are already. So he was actually off. He was laying with the Ross male early, and then he came closer just to investigate. He's been checking us out. He's grooming himself now, cleaning himself. Beautiful, the black markings behind the ears as well. The books will say that's a follow me sign. So you'll see all the lions have those black markings behind the ears, as well as a black tip to the tail. And if they're walking through long grass, especially this time of year, that's what they'll look for to keep track of each other and to follow each other. Oh, I think he's heading off to his sister and mom that's laying in the road there. Let's see if he greets them, normally with a little head rub. Undecided. Okay. Mom gets a greeting. Looks like they're well fed. That belly looks nice and full. They might have had a meal recently. Nirvana Girl saying she wishes she could sleep like this. Yeah, you and me both. I think they really have a good rest there. And especially during the day. I don't know. It's tough sleeping during the day. Not if you're a lion, though. If we have a close look, we've got quite a nice view of the back legs of that little cub on the left there. And you might have seen this before. Maybe you've seen lions in real life, or you've seen footage of lion cubs. But notice the spots on the back leg there. Now, when these cubs are young, they're usually very spotty. So the females will hide them in dense vegetation, so in a den site somewhere. And these spots help them to camouflage, so it helps them blend in a little bit better. And as they age, those spots will disappear. You won't see that on the mother or on the Ross male. And you can even see the spots there on the side. Alright, we're going to sit with them for a little while longer, and we're going to send you over to Devolt, who has found a cheetah.
Our female cheetah is still sitting in the little dip there and hasn't really come out too much. She just pops her head over this little rise every now and then to see if she can spot something. She hasn't started eating yet, which is a little bit weird for me, but we'll see what she does. She's, I think, a little bit nervous to eat down at the bottom there. And I'm hoping that she pulls the carcass out of the dip to get out into the open a little bit, so that she can keep an eye out around her. She's looking up the hill now for the first time, and a little bit towards us. Look how beautiful she is. Oh, Adida catching her attention there. We've just found some elephants as well, or rather they found us. Look at them coming over this big open plain. How beautiful is that? While sitting and watching the cheetah, and Ori just said, look at that one's tusks. There is a big bull in the middle there with massive tusks. You can also see his body is quite a bit bigger than the other two. My goodness. How lucky are we this morning? Went straight from some rhino to cheetah, and now we've got these elephants walking in to this a big open or empty watering hole. We are going to quickly link you over to Juma, where there's something happening.
Covered in blood. Just came out our camp. I have no idea what they could have, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them, I think, have caught something. Could be something small, but they didn't have blood earlier. Oh. Why not just sit in the puddle? Why not? They're running again. Oh my goodness, they've heard something. You ready, Si? Definitely a morning workout for us. They probably heard it's got meat, it's got something in its mouth. They've caught something. And they're transporting it to the others, I think. I wonder what they caught. Did you see that bird come out of the tree? I don't know what bird it is, but it's a huge raptor. So I think only half the pack managed to kill something, and they're now trying to relocate the other half of the pack. They'll do that through vocalizations. Here we go. They've got food. That's them reuniting, everyone. Stations, we've got the whole pack on the western edge. How beautiful was that, everyone? They don't like to be separated. They don't like to be apart. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, we're now behind a vehicle. But we're going to try and see if we can get round and reposition for them. They've all stopped here. Let me see if I can do this. There you go, we're all here. There's a chance both the pack split into two, and there's a chance that the sort of two separate packs both could have had food. And that's what they do, they split. They cause panic, they kill, and then they reunite immediately. That was joy. Those sounds that you were hearing, these sort of squealing and scootery sounds, it was joy. They'd been back together again. It's very rare to see aggression in the pack. Consultant detective, I don't believe so. I believe it's two separate packs. but I'm not sure. I believe the Pungwe pack is a separate pack from the Investec breakaway. The ambience is so incredible. Such little aggression. You will see aggression in lion prides. See aggression in hyena clans. But not wild dog packs. Things seems to have settled down, but it won't be for long. And once that sun starts to really burn through, they'll obviously seek shade, most likely in this drainage line. Judy, I don't know. They would just need to wait until all the tummies are full. One impala would definitely not fill all these little mouths. So normally they just keep on hunting until everybody's full. The puppies' tummies are obviously a little bit smaller than the adults, but they don't gorge themselves like the other predators do. They can't afford to weigh themselves down. So they'll just eat until they're lightly full, if that makes sense. Wild dogs will hunt at sunrise and sunset. I don't know how many impalas exactly would fill their tummies. It depends on if it's a ewe or a ram, a lamb. But one would not be enough for this entire pack. They're heading into the drainage now. This might be the last visuals we get of them. But it's almost altruism, so they do ensure that everyone is fed. It's not this sort of selfish way of the feeding frenzy of making sure you're the only one that's fed and you've sort of got to fight with the others. But the adults will kill and bring back for the pups. They'll ensure that everyone has a full tummy. And if they haven't, they'll just keep on making hunts. They require a lot of energy because of their hunting strategy, which is by coursing. Okay, I'm not sure if we'll see the dogs again, but we'll try and stick with this pair for a while. And for now, we're going to send you across to Wild and see what he has for you.
These elephants have now come around and we are just having a look at these two here because they have been dust bathing and walking and throwing dust up onto their backs and onto their faces. Look at that. And the sun coming through the dust there as well. There's the big bull here in front. Let me see if I can... Okay, wait, let's wait for a moment. I think they might be heading towards the water that's on the other side here. So we want to give them space if they do come in this direction. Oh, but it looks like they are moving away from us in the opposite direction. Look at them whipping up the dust, blowing the dust onto their faces. That big bull in the back. See how high his body is compared to the one that's on the left. Smelling the ground a bit before he starts walking. I think they're heading towards quite a dense area that's down in the dip at the bottom there in front. Lauren, you're saying magnificent images. It was such a beautiful moment with them blowing the dust and stuff onto themselves. These two are actually going to disappear soon into the thickets there at the bottom. I think they're heading down into the thicker area there to see if they can start feeding. But let's see if we can... Oh, while he's standing like that, we'll stay with him for now. This is the big bull with the big tusks. Seems like he's just waiting before going down the little hill there. Might be a little bit high for him to go down there. He's coming back this way now, yeah. I wonder if he's changed his mind to maybe come for a drink at the watering hole behind us. Let's see, he's going to come out behind this bush just now. Have a look at those magnificent tusks that he's got. Look at that. There we go. Smelling the air. See how he's turning his trunk a little bit this way. I think he's realized that there's some water close by. There was 3 of them earlier. The one bull is actually at the watering hole now. But we're going to stick with this bull with the big tusks for now. And what we'll do is, once he's gone past towards the watering hole, then we'll turn around. He's going to come right out into the road here, next to us. Look at that. Beautiful backdrop as well. Look at the hills and the mountains in the back there. Okay, I'm going to see if I can turn the vehicle, see if we can get a view of them at the watering hole. I think let's go to the watering hole there and see if we can get a view of them when they go and drink. There's already one of the bulls to the right. I don't know if you saw this bull that's here by the water when the marabou stalks were flying off. He was just chasing them off for a moment. Get my camera ready to take some photos of these elephants coming to drink. But while we wait for the other 2 elephants to come and join, we are going to stick around and see what they get up to.
Right now, we were trekking to see if we can find Tandis, but no luck. Track has been in the over, across the road, in and out of that drainage line where she was last night. and no luck. Now we got here a ground lily or crinum lily. As you can see, it actually have a beautiful, such a stunning flowering, which is already up. It looks like it's disturbed a little bit, maybe because of any of these blister beetles that I would sometimes find feeding on such a plant or flowers itself. Blister beetles. They're so small beetles, so I can't finish it at once. And this flower, it's about to open up there. Probably in the next few days, it's gonna be very much nice and open up. And they're our favorite for a heavily browser, which is kudus, those are nyalas. They've been seen feeding on such a plant. So we're gonna carry on, see if we can find any of these heavy browse around here.
So there's these two bulls here that are now at the water. They're drinking some of the fresher water at the top there. Just listen to that breathing out. Oh, there they're starting to throw some water onto themselves. And the third bull is just coming off to the right. We might get a view of him just now as he comes and joins these two. The size comparison between the one on the left and one on the right. Have a look at the ears of the one on the left hand side, how it's wet behind the ears, so that older bull has sprayed some water on the back of his ears there, wetting the back of his ears, cooling himself down very quickly by wetting those big veins and arteries that's behind his ear. Look how he just chased that other bull away very quickly. Got the message. See, that big bull is the only one that's getting to drink nice fresh water there. Look how he's standing with his foot, resting his one back leg a little bit. Here comes the third bull now to also see if he can get a drink. Oh, that one just got a bit of a gulp of water there. This younger bull on the right reaching to get a drink but doesn't want to get too close to the other bull. David, you're asking how old I think these bulls are. The biggest bull on the left-hand side, I think he's probably somewhere around 45 years old or so. And the other two bulls, you can see the one is just a little bit bigger than the other. So probably around 20 years or so. Oh, listen to that. Just got a stab onto the face with a big tusk. My goodness. can see how they can be quite aggressive around the water when there's a precious resource like this. Oh, must be honest, I got a bit of a heart attack there. I was not expecting that. And sorry, just to get back to your question, David, I think this one bull is maybe a little bit older than the other one, or the ones on the right, probably around 20 years to 25 years old or so. Look at these two younger bulls sizing each other up a little bit after that excitement of the big bull just touching the one's head with his tusk. Not keen to share his fresh water there. Now we are looking at the bums of these elephants for now, but I think if we are patient, they might move away a little bit. And we've got this really muddy water and big mud wallow that's here on our right. So I'm hoping that they come and maybe want to throw some mud up onto themselves, and then we are in a very nice spot. There, one's just turning a little bit. Still very keen. Shame this poor middle elephant bull wants to go for a drink and get some water, but he can't because both the big bull and the other one is keeping him away from the watering hole. You can see like how he wants to edge closer and closer, but this big bull, I'm sure he's very wary of him. Oh, there's a warthog that's now came and is lying down in the mud off to the right, enjoying cooling down as well as it heats up a lot. He's keeping an eye on these elephants as well. I think we might see quite a bit of animals coming to the water now as it heats up before the middle of the day when it's really, really hot and too warm. I don't know if you can hear the sound of the elephants as they slurp up the water. Just see the one here in the middle, he just wants to get to the water, but this other young bull is also keeping him away. See how the bull on the right hand side goes down for a drink, but still keeping his face facing the bull in the middle, trying to keep him from taking his spot. For now, I think we are going to stick around with these elephant bulls and see what they get up to. But we'll send you over to Marna, where she's got some little cats.
Welcome back. So not much has changed since you were last with us. The lioness got up and she moved into a bit of shade there, and the youngsters are still laying together with their heads up. Luckily, all the adults are sleeping. It's quite nice seeing the two of them together like this. You can see the one on the left, or the one in the back. His head is slightly larger compared to the one on the right. The one on the right is the young female, and the other one is the male. You can also see that there is a slight color difference. So she's a little bit darker, almost like it's almost like she has like a little bit of a reddish tinge to her, and he's a bit paler. But you can see the size difference in the heads already, even at this young age. Notice their ears constantly flicking. Just trying to chase the flies away. The flies and the bugs in the grass. We actually had a European roller visit us as well, also looking at the lions. Not really. Sure, he was just looking for some insects. Kim's saying these are beautiful cubbies. I agree. I love finding cub. I think anyone loves a cub, hey? A cub of any description, but lion cubs especially. They really are adorable. They really are adorable. I think my favorite thing about them is that they're usually quite restless. Look at that. Not as lazy as the adults. Looks like she's gonna go join her mum there. Under the quarry bush. Oh no, maybe just going to the road. Now, if we have a... no, we can't do that. I was going to point out the wound on her face. She's had it for a while now, but it seems like it's healing quite well. There's just a scab next to her eye now. I've been sitting and thinking about that. I wonder how she got that, but it could have been one of the other lions, maybe when they were around a carcass or something. You know, they're quite hostile towards each other when they're feeding. So maybe she just got a little smack from one of the other lions. Okay, it's nothing serious. Like I said, it's healing very well. She's just got a little battle scar there now. You can see the female off to the left. So she walked in there and she started feeding on grass, which is quite a strange thing to see of a big carnivore. But if you have dogs or a domestic cat at home, you might have seen them doing the same thing. And that is just to aid in digestion. So we actually often see them doing that. But it is quite a bizarre thing to witness. Oh, lifted his head again. Right, we are going to spend a little bit more time with them, but we are going to send you over to Andrew, who's found something poking out of the tree.
Thanks, Mara. And we got a now here. As you can see, the head sticking out of a rock monitor lizard. Probably coming out of that hole now. It's all about a little bit of a basking, but getting warm before take a huge forage around on the ground. Usually they're actually ground animal. So at night they use holes, tree holes, curved rocks. That's where they sleep for the night, and they all get up early in the morning, started to find feeding area, hunting for beetles, millipedes, centipedes, anybody around that can feed. They can eat on eggs as well, ground eggs, birds, eggs. Checking us out. Well, the hole is not actually far from the ground. And it's just saying it's so cool. Kind of an early morning wherever it's sunny, anytime they come out, and only one thing for sure they do, they got to check for their own safety before they emerge, get out of the hole. And also see that external ears just behind their eyes. Hunting methods, always like snakes, and they all just, every now and then stick their tongues out, pick up the sands, always take the tongue inside the mouth where it's attached to the top roof where there's a Jacobin organ sense, would then decode all of the scents around. And the predators would be a leopard, eagles, there's mussels, eagle out here, they will take it up that. So we're going to carry on checking. I'm going to be sending you across to Tswalu with something to show out there.
Yeah, one of these. Welcome back to Tswalu. So at this point in time, the bad news is that the meerkats have all decided to sleep in. All three groups, the horses, the mokalas, and the rock stars are all still sleeping in. We've got about 16 km/h winds, and they are absolutely not interested at all this morning. We've got someone stationed at each burrow waiting, and the meerkats are just not coming out. But what we have found is these beautiful cheetah tracks. And looking at the two, there's a set of them next to each other, and their size, this is probably the boys. So we'll spend some time tracking them. We have an idea of where they're going, but it's going to take us through probably a short section with no signal, and then hopefully we'll get them where we think that they are. But how you tell, I've got on this card here, I don't know if it helps if I lift it up like that a bit, Craig. On this card, I've got a comparison between the cheetah and the spotted hyena. And the cheetah, what's nice, you can actually see the three very clear lobes at the back of the track. I know Craig was zoomed in quite nicely, but you can see the three lobes quite nicely at the back of the track there, and the fact that they have the semi-retractable claws, they do make impressions. Having them had walked through this muddy area now, you can actually see the claw prints in the tracks clearly, which is very, very nice. And then the spotted hyena, the back and the front. Oh, there's some nice sunlight coming through there. So the back and the front, that sort of back lobe is almost only 2 lobes and slightly slanted at the back. And then, I'm standing on it. So just a sort of a more life-size comparison to a male lion. This one's quite exaggerated because this one would have also been in mud, but you can see almost the size difference between what a lion track would be versus a cheetah track. So we probably going to head on and see if we can find the 2 boys for you. Lately they've been chasing all the ladies and cubs around the reserve, so maybe more than just the boys. We're going to send you across to Deerwald, who's got also an animal that's got huge tracks.
Sorry about that, everyone. Don't know what happened to Phinda, but we are on another mission. Hukamuri has crossed into Juma from Simbambili, from One-Eyed Pan, but he's gone into the block. He's apparently mobile, so we're looking for Hukamuri. We know his routes, we know his path. Hukamuri only really touches in on the western side of Juma. He's a dominant male, he's a territorial male, but he doesn't really push in too far, or he hasn't until now. Of course, these things could change. So we're just looking for any signs of Mr. Hukamuri. Wouldn't it be great to see him? It's been a while since I've seen Hook. Okay, I'm being called over, everyone. Bear with me.
I was just going to give you a read quickly. I just want to see exactly where you are in relation to us here.
Sorry, I had my radio down. What do you need me to do?
Please just give a rev just so we have a relation where it is following the tracks to us.
Copy. Bear with us, everyone. This is how we communicate, through revs. So someone can try and locate us. Okay, wish me luck, everyone. I'm going to do my very best to try and find Hukamuri, but for now, back across to Phinda.
These 3 elephant bulls have had enough to drink, I think, and now they are just starting to splash themselves and throw mud up onto themselves. You can see the one here on the left hand side is nicely covered now. Oh, he's still having a drink too of water. See some splashing happening. Let's see, when this bull on the left hand side goes to drink, let's see how he's just tilting his head up to get the last bit of water out. Might see them just splash around with their trunk in the water to try and get the dirt that they've disturbed at the bottom of the watering hole there away. He's not drinking at the moment, just smelling the ground. You're asking if elephants step on their trunks when they walk. I've never ever heard of that happening, and I think yes, it is possible, but if they really keep their head down and their trunks are or lying on the ground, but that is, I think, very unlikely to happen, as they often walk with their heads up and would almost never step on their trunk, or I've never ever heard of that happening. all of them still beating their ears, trying to cool themselves down. Just imagine this water and mud that they're throwing onto themselves every now and then is so welcome with it being so hot. Look at the one on the left hand side resting his trunk on the ground there. See the big elephant bull that's on the right, he's still trying to get as much water as possible there, sucking it up for a very long time and then going and putting it into his mouth. Where the two young ones, I think they are maybe a little bit more playful as they are younger, and maybe that's why they might be spraying the water and mud all over themselves so early on. See this big bull sniffing around on the ground there now. Bit of clouds coming in front of the sun for a little bit, so it feels very good, and a bit of a cool breeze coming over as well. Then are you asking if elephants breathe through their trunks or their mouth? So these elephant bulls, they are going to be breathing mostly through their trunks, but a little bit through their mouths. I think it's quite a lot of breathing actually through the trunk than the mouth. Most of the breathing of elephants happen through their trunks, but they do breathe through their mouths a little bit. Let's see, the big bulls, I think, had enough to drink now. Let's see what he does. Oh, no, he's still going for a drink there. But more spraying the water on his side. Look at that. Just wasting water there. He missed himself completely there. You need to put more pressure into that trunk to get that water onto you. See the one in the back standing with his legs, trying to take some of the weight off of his legs. There, he got some on his face, this big bull. As you were saying, their trunks look like water fountains when they're spouting them out. They indeed do, and sometimes they can be quite playful with them and spray the water in weird and funny ways out the sides. Let's see what they do. Oh, see, spraying around their mouths. They're the big bulls just having another drink. They're obviously really enjoying this water with it being so hot. The bull on the left is now going a little bit closer to the water there. So he's splashing it around. Having a drink / spraying it into his mouth and over his face. So he splashes the surface of the water around, trying to get some of the dirt away and then get to the fresher water at the bottom. Standing with his one back leg, and the big bull on the right, also trying to take some of the weight off of it and resting. spraying some of the water onto his trunk and onto the front of his trunk as well. Looks like he's turning. Let's see if he goes towards the muddy water at the bottom there. Maybe there will be some interaction. Look at the other bull on the left, kind of making way for him. And immediately this young bull on the left-hand side coming around to get to the fresher water there. Waiting for the big bull to have his drink before they move in. I think that big bull is going down towards the muddy water on the other side to see if he can go and throw some mud onto himself. Yeah, have a look at that. He's already going and digging around with his trunk. Oh yeah, he's throwing the mud up onto himself. So he's scraping the mud up, and there blows it straight onto his face, over his eyes. Trying to get it into every single little crevice or so to get it stuck to the areas where the ticks and biting parasites will be, but also spraying it over himself, over the bigger parts of his body to cool himself down. Look at that, throwing it up onto his back with such precision. Jasmine, you're saying it's a spa day at Phinda today. And it indeed is. It seems like this big bull has had enough of the spa. Maybe he'll go and dust bathe a little bit. So often after a bit of mud wallowing, you'll see them sometimes go and throw some dust onto themselves to kind of dry the mud a bit. Let's see, he's on the move though. Reaching up, scratching behind his ear there as well. He's had enough of the watering hole. I don't know if you can hear these other two bulls sucking up the water. The big bull is just keeping on walking. Not stopped for a dust bathe just yet. But I think for now, while these elephants are starting to move, we're going to see if we can move around to get another view of them. And see if we can maybe find some other animals as well.
Have you been watching WildEarth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. WildEarth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live WildEarth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply. The new year has arrived, and with it comes all kinds of other new beginnings. From hyena cubs to meerkat pups, the bush is full of new life. If you want to find out more, then sign up to be an explorer and join our New Beginnings Fireside Chat. Tristan and Steve will be looking at what's new here in the wilderness as we enter 2021. Join them on the 17th of January, straight after the Sunset Safari. Our first WildEarth Explorers competition has closed. And we have a winner. Congratulations to Chantal Sleep from Benoni in South Africa.
I felt totally overwhelmed for winning this prize. I will be taking my son with me, and I can't wait to share this experience with him.
Chantal and her son have won a behind-the-scenes WildEarth experience at the magnificent and beyond Ngala tented safari camp. The prize includes a 3-night stay and a chance to sleep out in the unique Ngala treehouse.
I would like to thank WildEarth for making this dream come true, and I encourage everybody to subscribe, to become an explorer, and stand the chance to win these amazing prizes, and so much more.
For this month, we have a brand new prize. You could be jetting off to Tswalu in the Kalahari for a 3-night stay at the luxurious Motsi Lodge. Open to all WildEarth explorers who have signed up before the end of January 2021. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like the backup crawl though. They got like 6 bedrooms. So if the
As you can see, we've left our vigil of Old Joe and his impalas. Just a bit of a search in the area, but no luck on any tracks and signs. Now we've come to Leopard Dam, where of course, as always, elephants are frolicking. It's not so far from where that carcass was in the tree with that young impala. We're hoping that from here we might hear alarm calling. If any animals that might be at that carcass, or the area of the carcass. In the meantime, we're just enjoying watching these elephants play and frolic in the waters of Leopard Dam. Oh, there's even a young elephant in there, which is quite unusual. See that tiny little elephant just sticking its head out? It's completely submerged. We might just have to move us forward slightly so we can get a slightly better look. It's unusual to see such a tiny elephant in the waters when there are bulls about. It looks like there's just one female, which is quite unusual. The rest of the herd is just spread out a bit more. That's much better. Look at that. Now we've got a great view. So you can see there, the elephants are playing just in front of that little Tambuti island, the Tambuti tree island. And on the very far left there is a female, and the bigger elephant just to the right is a male. Now the male's putting its trunk on the back of the female. And every now and again you just see the tip of the trunk of the baby elephant just sticking out the water. So it's completely submerged. Not like the big elephants which submerge themselves. The baby elephant is completely submerged. Just the trunk sticking out every now and again. Uh-oh. There it is, just next to the mother. We'll see it coming out now onto the bank. I wonder if the mother will chase that bigger elephant from being too close to her baby. Oh, doesn't seem like it. It's having fun. Perhaps she's let the rest of the herd move off so that she can have this moment of comfort with the youngster. The elephants opening their big ears to make themselves look larger and intimidate. Pompeii, I think it's definitely what this is. I think this is definitely just elephants having fun. The mother is taking a moment to, be in the water with the youngster and still just play and push around this young male just a little bit. It's quite unusual. You don't often see females and males having interactions like this. And it's almost certainly because her baby's there and she's just, stepping up to keep the baby safe. There's absolutely nothing like a female protecting her youngster. Doesn't matter if that male is so much larger, she will stand her ground. And there, in the background, a little blacksmith lapwing also, just waiting at the edge of the water. All the splashes of the elephants and the waves and the ripples sometimes washes up little aquatic insects. That blacksmith lapwing can then snap up real quick. Oh, careful. Lie right on the baby. Taking it down with her. No, it's not exactly a tiny baby. It's got tiny little tusks, so it might be just around about 3 years old. Definitely big enough to look after itself, and this is a small elephant compared to that bigger male. Got fairly impressive tusks as well. See, he's not a huge male elephant, but his tusks are quite long already. Probably going to be quite impressive when he gets to his mid to late 40s. I didn't see it fully out the water, but I think this elephant's probably in its late 20s. You can see some other elephants walking in the background, just through the trees there. Not easy to spot. There's some impalas as well. They might be coming down to the water in a little bit to have a little refresher. Apparently these elephants were in the water earlier today. Although it was a cool morning, I suspect it's going to get quite warm. They'll have to come regularly to drink and to bathe, to cool down. For those of you who are interested, actually I did manage to get in touch with the researchers regarding that elephant who had the wound on his penile sheath. And they're going to come and have a look at him a bit later today. Susie, they're so playful. And they're at the water. Oh, look at the blacksmith lapwing. He's just moving out the way. So as I was saying, those did manage to contact the researchers. And they said they would come and have a look at that elephant. Not that they would necessarily do anything for that male elephant with his infected wound on his belly, but they'll at least take some photos and some observations just to see what might be the problem. All very useful information. We'll keep you up to date if there's any interesting developments on that front. Another reason why we're in this area, so that we can just maybe see if that elephant bull is still around. Submarine.
An injury. We have Hukamuri. I think he's injured, everyone. Bear with me. We're just trying to grab him. He's just gone behind this termite mound. I think he looks like he's injured. It could also be a leaf. Oh, so fabulous to see him. Hello, boy. Yeah, that's an injury. Ouch. Hukamuri, why do you always do this to us? I love this boy, but my goodness, every time we find him, he's got a new injury. That's quite a wound on his right shoulder, if you like. And this is a dominant territorial male from the west, and we like to say his name with a little bit of attitude. Hukamuri. Now, there was a massive tracking effort from us and the Cheetah Plains team. We all worked together there. We managed to find him. He's heading towards Sydney's dam. So he's popped in from Simbambili. He's just merely skirted round the northwest corner of Juma, if that. He's barely put his paws into Juma, to be honest, and he's heading straight for the northern cut line. But luckily we can follow. Buffalo's Hook is no longer a no-go zone for us. The injury didn't look too severe. I mean, he's walking, but ouch. Such a lovely leopard, such a lovely nature. And he regularly pushes in from the west, and then sometimes I think Mulwati pushes him back. Then he pushes in, and then he pushes back. He's having a lovely look at the Cheetah Plains vehicle there. He's very habituated. You can actually walk with Hukamuri on foot. He's very relaxed. I think we're going to follow. This is a slightly tricky signal area. It always has been. For many, many years, it's always been a black spot here. So it may get a little bit tricky, but don't worry, it doesn't last for long. Once we get through it, the signal pops back up again. And don't ask me why, because I have no idea. Signal still baffles me to this day. But this is Sydney's dam right ahead, and he's going. So I think we can cross him. Nigel, any other stations in Buffelshoek? WildEarth crossing into Buffelshoek. Okay, we're going to be able to follow him. He's heading straight to the dam. From the Juma clan to the Pungwe pack of dogs to Hukamuri. I'm starving. What about you, Simon? I've converted Simon and Andrew to my coffee, everyone. Davi was already on board, but I have to say, Simon and Andrew are now converted to my jet fuel. Okay, everyone, I'm just going to go round them. We are at Sydney's Dam, which is in the southwest corner of Buffelshoek. And of course, we never used to be able to come here before. Oh, he's not walking very fast. He looks hungry. Hukamuri's a fighter. A gorgeous, gorgeous leopard. He's the father of Nzutini, who we've seen recently, and he's also the father of Kara. Lee, I couldn't possibly say in terms of numbers. I don't think anyone knows how large any of the leopard's territories are. We sort of just guesstimate, if you like. And Hukamuri pushes far too far west. I really have no idea. We can't traverse past Simbambili Dam. He goes on to Elephant Plains. He covers Arathusa, sometimes seen on Hoffman. So he's got a really sort of large area that we can't traverse, I'm afraid. So we submit all our data to Panthera, and they do create territory maps. However, it's solely based on sightings. That doesn't mean that's the only place that the leopard has moved. It's the only place that people have seen the leopard move. And from what I gather, his territory is shrinking a little bit. He's got pressure on the east from Mulwati, who Andrew got very lucky to spend time with the other day. He's got pressure from the south, from the Tortoise Pan. And Mr. Hosanna is throwing himself into the mix as well. Hosanna's been regularly seen on Elephant Plains, which is just a bit too far west for us. So there's a lot of pressure on Hukamuri. It used to come right up to quarantine. I've had many sightings with him on quarantine. But since Mulwati has really sort of been very active around here and was meeting with Shadulu, things have changed. Hukamuri's never extended that or sort of pushed in that far anymore. They understand each other's messages. They understand that odor fence. It's not just a fence to keep intruders out. It sends a message, and he understands that message. He knows who his enemies are. I don't know if he's heading for a drink or he's just enjoying watching the beautiful scene in front of him. Of course, there's Impala across there, but there's no way he can possibly get there easily. We'd have to navigate around somehow. But he's hungry. I know that because his belly's very empty. He's not as big as Tingana. Tingana's a bigger male leopard than him in terms of size. But he's just gorgeous. I wish he would push further in. I really do. be so good if he got a meal and we could spend lots of time with him. When a leopard's on a kill, of course, you can spend huge amounts of time with them. He's in his prime though. Hukamuri's very much in his prime. And although he's got pressure, he'll find his way. He'll keep pushing and pulling and extending and shifting. But if through the west, on the western side of the sort of northern sector of the Sabi Sands, if you like, there's a lot more pressure, I would say, than the Buffelshoek Torchwood side, the northeastern side. There's a lot more males on that side. And of course, if Tingana really has gone nomadic, then that makes space. But it appears that Mulwati has filled that vacuum. Okay, he's going to move. Okay, we are going to try and go forward just a little bit to get some better views. But for now, let's go across to Andrew.
Thanks, Lauren. Here, well, also checking the boundary here, and our bird fly off. So we're checking the boundary, hoping for these dogs again, because they were seen running into the wood, where then eventually lost the visual of them, the guys. And we're just checking if it happens they come out of here, since they were running to the northwards from quarantine. And they actually hunt on a daily basis. At night, they were probably just going to take it easy, even though they hunt, but they weren't going to be too much interested on hunting big games without a full moon. So if they ran from there northwards and they haven't stopped, they have probably crossed into Buffelshoek, and which is our northern boundary there. We can still traverse there, so that we need to find their tracks. It wasn't easy for the guys to keep up with them, and to thicket. Unless if they find a shadow, take it easy. So I'm going to be sending you across to DJ with tall animals.
So, yes, you are correct, that's not a cheetah. It's got spots, but it is a giraffe. So, in between when we left you on our cheetah tracks and now with this giraffe, we did find the cheetah, but of course, in the mountains where there's unfortunately no signal. So, we'll monitor them. Maybe this afternoon they move out into an area that's a little bit better to show you them. But, we're just with this male giraffe. He's enjoying his breakfast on a nice blackthorn. Don't forget to send your questions to #WildEarth and put @FC in the front. Yes, good morning. He's like, oh, wait, I'm on TV. Yes. He's got a couple of battle scars on him. We found sort of one area, one patch on the back there, just above his hips there, that's got a little bit of a bare patch. So he's been in one or two fights before. And, Just a nice long neck. He is the only one that we got in this area. There aren't any others that we can see, so he's all by himself. So the black thorns, you can't see it now, but the black thorns have got the little hook thorns, and it's multiple across that. I didn't get the question from Victor. So Victor's asking if the thorns on the tree do not hurt the giraffe. Well, giraffe are quite lucky in that they've got lots of adaptations that make it slightly easier to eat a thorny tree. They've got sort of a very hard palate in the roof of their mouth, a very salivary covered tongue, and they do tend to pick off the leaves in between, and they are able to deal with thorny plants. So come closer. No, that's going to go behind the bush. So the trees over time, that's one of the acacia trees, or the Vichellias. Let me try and rearrange position. Hang on for me. So it's known as the arms race in nature. Is that better? There. Nice with the blue sky, partial blue sky in the background. So the thorn trees, it was like an arms race. So the tree puts out thorns to try and prevent, we call this a predator, but a browser from spending too much time feeding on the tree. And then sometimes the tree itself will also go to chemical warfare, in that it starts actually increasing the tannins in the leaves to start making themselves taste bitter. And over time, so then the giraffe would have developed adaptations like that thick saliva, or that hard ridge or palate in the mouth, to be able to deal with those thorns. So that's nature. One develops one adaptation, the other one develops another adaptation, and they keep going like that. But that's why over time, eventually the giraffe, like he just did, he moves on to another tree, maybe another species that doesn't necessarily receive the information to increase the tannins in the leaves, and he'll pick and choose from the different trees in that area. So he's just, you can see that picking the leaves off is quite a gingerly affair. He does it very, very nice and gently, but there are one or two trees we can show you at a later stage, a grey camel thorn, that the thorns are actually very soft. So once you just pull on the tree, the thorns will just fold up, and it's easy to strip the leaves off that. So a lot of the black thorns have got quite a few of the seed pods that have already released seeds, but there are also quite a lot of the camel thorn trees that are also produced a nice seed pod, which is a nice sort of protein package. They're not completely developed yet, but as soon as they are, then the giraffe will start eating those seed pods as well. I think, Craig, if I go further forward for you, are you okay with that? But I think I can get some of the leaves out of the way if I just move a fraction of an inch forward. So Molly is asking the question, what colour is a giraffe's tongue? And I do remember I got asked that question in the very, very beginning, and I didn't know the answer, but the tongue colour is black, and that actually helps them protect them from sunburn, believe it or not. That was courtesy of the viewers Googling for me while I was on air. So, but the tongue is about 45 centimeters in length. So if you're looking at the giraffe, almost from the base of the jaw all the way forward is tongue. So you can imagine that it is pretty large. And although we see them at a distance, when you've actually got a giraffe skull in your hands, it's absolutely enormous. You can't actually believe that they're that big. So you can see their thorns don't seem to bother him at all. There you get the little, the little tongue comes out to nip off a couple of the leaves. So when some of these flower as well, the giraffe will eat the flowers. So they're not too picky. They'll eat flowers, they'll eat leaves, they'll eat the seed pods. And then he's gaining in as much as he can, but because he's a ruminant, in the heat of the day, what the giraffe here do is that they'll often actually lie down underneath a large camel thorn that provides enough shade for them, and then they'll go through that process of rumination. They'll regurgitate the food, and then just keep chewing as it makes its way down into the final stomach, where they're getting the most nutrients out. He's having quite a good breakfast. So they've actually figured out the numbers of giraffe across Tswalu, just the total number and what they eat in a day. I mean, that's a big animal. That's almost a ton. You can imagine how many of those little leaves on an acacia tree it actually has to eat. So it's something ridiculous, like 3 tons worth of leaves get eaten by the Tswalu giraffe in a day. Across the whole property, just based on the giraffe numbers. But I mean, just look at how little those leaves are, and you can just imagine how many he has to pick off the trees in order to get enough food for a day. But they specifically select ones that are good value for them. Sammy is asking a question about the ossicones on the female, so what some people would refer to as horns, but you are 100% correct, they are ossicones. The difference between the male and the female is the fact that the females are much thinner and the males are much bigger and then tend to be wider and also sort of slightly bald on top. So the female, they're almost decorative more than they have any use. Craig, I've got a little critter here that's trying to hide from me on this side, so I don't know, you'll have to let me see. Hopefully he doesn't jump away from us, but I'm going to put my finger just above him, and you can see how well camouflage works for him. Have you got him there? He's a sort of a grass hopper of some kind. He's also on the thorn tree, so I'm going to try and just stop it from moving around so much. Have you got him? How beautiful is that? So it's just one of the grasshoppers, but it'll be one of the instar stages of the grasshoppers as they grow and they change from one sort of generation to the next. Then eventually he'll probably become like a brown grasshopper of some kind. But just look at how amazing that camouflage is. And I mean, now that you've zoomed in, relative to the grasshopper, you can actually see how tiny the leaves are on the blackthorn that giraffe is eating. So this grasshopper would potentially be nibbling on a couple of these leaves, but he also wants to stay out of the eyesight of some birds or other creatures that might want him for a snack. He's holding on for dear life because it is still quite windy here, so he's probably moved out of the area. So as he hides, we're going to send you somewhere else.
So now we're at one of the small pen here, looking at sociable weavers, which are just busy trying to build a nest again. And it's not actually a lot of a colony of them there. just probably a few of a nest. Well, they're still quite green nest though. You can see they still haven't done it yet. But the male trying to experiment, check the top if it's well done. They have such a beautiful call bird. And our little songs that's going on there. And they're all clever birds. Always make sure these nests are built near water, because this helps them to find the grasses for building this nest. Green grasses. So there, female should be standing by, and once the nest is done, she's gonna get in there, check to see if she likes it. If she doesn't like it, the male is gonna build another one.
So there he's wandering off, of course. He was framed up, he was right next to the vehicle. We were going to show you one of his battle scars, but he's decided that he's moving on for breakfast somewhere else. So he's heading towards the back of the vehicle, so just hang on. We're going to reverse a little bit because Craig can do wonders with the camera, but not film backwards. That does make it a bit challenging. So let's see. He had quite a prominent scar on one of the sides of his legs where, from the fighting of the males, when they hit each other with the heads like a massive hammer, like a mallet blow, sometimes they go so serious at it that they actually sort of break the skin, and then it does take time to heal. For him, it was actually on the other side. There's an open area coming up now, so we'll just reposition. There we go. And we can see, so it's on his right side, just his sort of rump area. So when two male giraffes fight, they sort of steady themselves across the legs, face opposite each other, and then try and swing that neck and use their head like a club to hit the other opponent, sometimes even knocking them over. And that can be quite dangerous for them. It can kill them. So male giraffe have killed other male giraffe in the time frame of fighting, sometimes even with a kick blow to the head. But he's looking like he's possibly seen something in the distance there. He's quite focused. If he saw other giraffe at a long distance, he'd probably make his way over in that direction to just have a social. They come and go as they please. So he is definitely, he's concentrating on something, but I can't see what he can see there. Now you can see us. So as the giraffe looks into the distance, we're going to send you across to Andrew, who's looking at some beautiful birds.
Thanks, Deirdre. We got we're still here with our less must weavers again, as sociable weavers, and they still haven't stopped flying about, restarting new structures of a nest. Becomes so much of work for a male, because once the nest is denial by the female, then or as a male, start to structuring another nest again, building it up. Can sometimes takes 12-15 days to do that, depending on the source of grasses materials around here. So Ngala, you're asking how do they manage constructing this nest together. So where they each one has its own partner, which a male and a female, even though they're all together. So would work together. Female sometimes may bring sort of material, but then the male would actually reconnect all of this work and get it done. But they use their little beak to do that. And all they do, they have very much strong little claw they're holding up. Because sometimes they can niche, hold up, face to the top, as you see that one there. So that's how they're managing it. But it's always so important that they use very thin end of a twigs to connect these nests. Just because of, it happens sometimes there is a visitor, which is the snakes, weren't able to crawl all the way to these thin branches without falling off. Here's one of the male taking it easy, take a little bit of a break. They are also seasonal, so they don't actually breed all the year round, once a year. Great, so he's saying these birds are cool to watch. Indeed, they are cool. And then now it's all of a sudden just the noises settle down. It can be very noisy sometimes and all fly around. And then most of the noises take place is when the male's trying to switch the nest. So I'm going to carry on with my search, then I'm going to be sending you. Right, then yeah, we're going to be here with our bird. And it's always so cool watching these birds doing their activity of the day.
It's been down for a while. Any updates?
So in the winter there is no such a breeding season for these birds. They only breed during a wet, raining time, which is, it helps them to able to get source of materials, green grasses, and also to get a food for their chicks when their chicks hatch. Clive, he's saying the female must be so impressed by this nest. Yeah, they do. But what happened here, the system is different. How do you actually compare that to kind of a human as two partners where they're married? Always female, whenever she like about the area to spend, then it's always okay with men. Where male now, he's the one that is in charge of whole thing, building whole thing, housing. And then for the female to come in as an inspector to check if it's cool for her, if she likes it, then of course she's gonna take it as a nesting nest. But if she's not, then he has to make another nest as a male. Forget about the older one. So now, for the female not to like the nest, I'm not sure why. Maybe you find the position of the entrance is not actually cool, or it's pointing the way she don't like, or maybe it's too low on the ground, or actually it's a lot of visible hole. When she's inside she can still see the above, or she's not fitting well inside. So I'm gonna check more of the roads here, and these dogs hasn't come out any of the tracks here. So I'm gonna be sending you across to Tswalu.
Look what we have here. A beautiful flower. It's known as a matchstick mistletoe, because you can see in Afrikaans a vuurhoutjie, little firewood, if you want to put it that way. But you can actually see that it is in a blackthorn. But a mistletoe is a hemiparasitic plant. And when they say hemiparasitic, it's because it puts its roots into the branch of the main tree, or the host tree as it were, and it steals nutrients and minerals from the tree. But as you can see there, it actually has its own leaves, so it'll photosynthesize using its own leaves. So therefore a hemiparasite, because it's only sort of stealing moisture from the tree, or the water and the liquids and the minerals from the tree, but it's providing photosynthesis for itself. And it also generally uses then the tree as a support structure. There was a little critter in there earlier. I'm going to try and see if I can find him before... did he go? No, he's there. This is always a tussle with the blackthorn, is never a nice thing. But if I pull this branch down, maybe Craig, maybe he moved. So he goes under. There's a beautiful, elegant grasshopper. Well, he's... Can you come out, please? Come on. Come out. Come up. No, he's hiding. So a beautiful, elegant grasshopper. He probably would be... He can eat the flowers if he wants. No, he's just hiding in there. He's not interested in coming out at this stage. I was going to see... Oh, here, you can you find this one, Craig? This is... These are also quite new. They've also only come out recently after the rains. It's one of the morning glories. They also make a nice sort of creeper ground cover. And then, I don't know, I know the zoom is not that great, but actually there's a... Oop, no, he's going to fly away. There's a beetle there that's one of the blister beetles. I don't know if you can see this one here, Craig. I'm probably making it quite difficult because there's lots of activity, but if you can zoom in on that one, I don't know if you can see, there's a caterpillar inside, busy eating the inside of the flower. Can you see him? This is in the way, that's in the way, too much. Okay, there you can actually see the caterpillar. So that caterpillar will come from one of the many, many multiple butterflies that's around at the moment. He's also busy having his breakfast inside there. So he's got to be careful. So now we know they do. I can see a couple of the leaves as well with a couple of holes in them. So David is asking the question, what else do caterpillars eat? So caterpillars mostly feeding on vegetation, so mostly just sort of green leaves, and then we have seen them feeding on flowers. They've obviously just got to keep eating and eating and eating so that they can grow, so that they can go through that phase of going into the cocoon and eventually becoming either a moth or a butterfly, depending on whose caterpillar that is. But we were hearing a red-crested korhaan in the background. We're hoping, they're very difficult to get on TV when they do their breeding display. If there's a female in the area, what he will do is he shoots straight up into the sky, and then he puffs out all his feathers and he tips back, and then he tumbles to the ground, and he lands to impress the ladies. So we've heard him, he goes, and then he has a very high-pitched whistle. I can't do that, I'm not a very good red-crested korhaan whistler, but he was calling, so maybe we're lucky. Maybe he decides to go up in the background. But what's happening at the moment, also the caterpillars, there's so many caterpillars at the moment. A few weeks ago we had that brown-veined white emergence, and it created a lot of food, which is what often the cuckoos eat. So we get a lot of the different cuckoo species. We've been hearing the black cuckoo, we've seen the Jacobins, the Diedrichs, the great spotted cuckoo, they've all been around, and they use caterpillars as presents to attract, to charm the females. So they'll use a caterpillar as a gift to a female, and then that pair together will go and look for a nest of a host species to go and lay an egg in. We're going to send you across to Lauren, who's got another insect to show you. We're going to carry on heading down the road.
We've came across some romance in the air here. We have mating elegant grasshoppers. One of the largest, most colourful grasshoppers that you will find here. And their beauty really is breathtaking, all in the form of aposematic coloration. Warning, I'm bright because I'm toxic. And I'm toxic from all the plants that I eat. The toxin builds up in my body, so I'm pretty much telling you guys not to eat me. Very, very successful way of survival. Visual warning, and it's visual because the predators are visual. Saying, hey, I'm brightly coloured because I don't taste good. And that's what they're doing here. It's so lovely to see them again. Of course, we don't really get to see the insects as much now on the vehicle, but when we do, we'll definitely stop for them because it's summer and there's just insects everywhere. Now, just an update, Hukamuri crossed into the Mangalaiti. We do not traverse that area, I'm afraid, so we had to let him go. But it's just so nice to come across something so beautiful. And grasshoppers have a very unique biology in that their wings are so poor because they can jump so high. I didn't catch that name, but you're saying you don't really like grasshoppers, but these ones amaze you. And I can see why. They are incredible. And they jump so high, especially for their size. So they've developed special jumping legs, if you like. I don't think that's the official name, but it's their hind leg, the last set. So they've got 6 legs because they're insects. And that last pair, the hind pair, are the ones that have sort of developed specialized legs They're sort of out of proportion. They're so much larger, and this is to allow them to jump really far in the air, escape predators, get to a new location. And they're always held close to the insect's center of gravity. So if you look at the sort of position of the hind legs, you'll always see that they're held very, very close to the insect's body. And because the hind legs have allowed jumping, it's encouraged the grasshoppers to be so successful. They just don't have to fly, really. They have got wings, but they're just extremely poorly developed. They've got specialized muscles in their legs as well, which just help them boing right up into the air. And the male normally, well, quite literally, shall we say, hangs on to the female. He doesn't let her go. Even once the mating bout, or the copulation, should I say, is over, he's going to cling on. And this is another form of sort of competition among males to stop other males coming in, to stop other males mating with her. And I've just got a lovely diagram here, Simon, that I just wanted to quickly point out in my insect book. As you know, the insect bodies are divided into head, thorax and abdomen. They have different functions. It's a very segmented body. And the thorax is the middle section. So if we look at this, you can see head, small section here, then the thorax, you see the segments, and then the abdomen. The abdomen is the largest part that contains the digestive, oh sorry, that's the wing, the abdomen is here, that contains the digestive system and the reproductive system. But the thorax, this little part here, is labeled D on this sort of diagram. That will contain all the muscles. That's the transport center. So the wings are attached to the thorax as well as the legs. Not so easy to see in this diagram, but your transport center is exactly the one sort of part of the insect that contains all the muscles necessary for flight. And if you look at the hind leg, this leg that's sort of really well developed, it's extraordinarily out of proportion compared to the other legs. And this is the key to a grasshopper. This is exactly what allows the grasshopper to spring into the air and, well, cover great distances, to be honest. There's lots of different muscles in here that allowed them to do that. So I just thought I would show you that diagram of the structure of an insect. This is a wonderful little book. Insectopedia. I don't think our grasshoppers are going to move very far today. I think they're going to stay very, very close together for quite some time now. They can jump together. It's rather bizarre when they're attached like this, but they are able to jump. And that's because they need to be able to escape predators. They have to. Otherwise, every time they mate, it would leave them far too vulnerable. And every mating pair would then therefore be eaten, which is not a great idea. Alfie agreed. Such amazing colours. It's so bright, and that's where the name elegant grasshopper, of course, comes from. But it really is a warning. To humans, we perceive it as beauty. Isn't that fascinating that our sort of perception is gorgeous, beauty. But if you're an insect, or a predator of the insect, be it a bird, you're not necessarily going to think beauty. You're going to think, unpalatable, toxic. Isn't that fascinating? Different perceptions. But they are gorgeous, definitely, to my perception anyway. But aposematic colouring it's not so present in mammals, but in most other groups of animals it is. Reptiles, amphibians, insects, fish, you will find aposematic colouring, and it's just a warning, self-protection. Butterflies also do this. The more brightly coloured you are, the more toxic you are, which means no one wants to eat you. And sometimes it's true, sometimes you really are toxic, and if the predator eats you, they will get sick. You are unpalatable, but sometimes it's a lie, and you're mimicking something else, and you're pretending to be something you are not. Okay, Simon and I are going to take a bumble around quarantine, see what other small things we can find, but for now, I believe Andrew has some things to show you.
Thanks, Lauren. Indeed, here on the ground, this is actually the whole piles of elephant dung or poop. So as you can see how massive it is. That is not actually fresh. You can tell from the distance if you look to the very top there of it. It's already little fungal. And the mushrooms taking place is growing slowly. So nothing goes to waste. Animals poop, same with an impala poop, would fertilize, regenerate the growth of grasses, which is about the same with elephant dung. It's a fertilizer for grasses and other plants, where it's braked from the plants, where the elephants have eaten them. Now it's a poop. So you're asking if the dung beetle can still use this dung. It's very dry. It's an old one. As you can see, looks like it wasn't really disturbed by any dung beetles since it's been there while it was fresh. Then now it dried off. But birds can still pick on that there. Disturbed it, hoping to find any of other kind of like woody termites, because they can feed on anything that dried off. So I'm going to carry on, still having get luck with these new tracks of the dogs. I'm going to be sending you across to Lauren with more insects to show.
Oh, good luck, Andrew. I don't think it's going to be very easy finding those dogs. I think they're deep in the drainage now. Now, this Simon is doing incredible camera work here, but unfortunately the wind is moving this grass. There's a nice breeze coming through. This is a net-winged beetle species. Now, when we say net-winged beetles, it's a group. It's not a specific species. You get 50 different species of net-winged beetles, and we're seeing them everywhere now. The reason I stopped to show you them is they also have aposematic colouring. They're also poisonous. Now remember, poison and venom differs, and it's all in the method of delivery. Venom has to be injected through either a tail or a spine or fangs. Poisonous has to be ingested, which normally means that you have to eat it or touch it and it soaks through the skin. And therefore, the net-winged beetles are poisonous, and therefore they're telling the truth. They're not mimicking something that's poisonous. They actually are poisonous. They do contain toxins. And they're very obvious. That sort of amber coloration of orange, I think it's lovely. Contrasting with the black at the base of their wings is very, very bright. And if you're a predator and you're highly visual, you see in color, then you're going to see that warning immediately. You're going to know, not a good choice here, chaps. We need to choose another dinner. And all the species, all 50 of them, are similar in coloration, and that's because they're mimicking one another. Mimicry in the animal kingdom is absolutely fascinating. I could chat about that for days. And they're intentionally trying to mimic each other because it dilutes the effect. And what that means is that because they're all poisonous, they're all unpalatable, at least if they all look similar, the predator's going to immediately learn, okay, these net-winged beetles, orange and black, is a no-no. It's a no-go. Whereas if they all look different, if they all had different colorations and different patterns, it wouldn't be so easy for the predator to always remember all 50 species are unpalatable. So they're merging, they're trying to all look like one another, so it increases the effect of the aposematic colouring, if that makes sense. It dilutes their individual presence, and it increases the overall effect of the warning, the visual warning, stay away. Adult net-winged beetles are also mimicked by stink bugs, believe it or not, our least favourite insect in the entire Lowveld. Unfortunately, no one enjoys the net-winged beetles, the stink bugs, sorry, but they're trying to look like these beetles. So we're going to continue our search for the small things, and for now, we're going to send you across to Tswalu.
So we also have a beetle that no one else enjoys. This one is known as a grey, slender blister beetle. And most blister beetles would actually have bright coloration to tell you that they're actually sort of poisonous or don't touch them. But unfortunately, these ones don't carry that warning sign. So there's just been a sheer abundance with the very good rains of the blister beetles, and also because of the devil's thorn, the flower that they're on and busy eating at the moment is just in full abundance. And as you can see, the beetles are busy just nibbling away at all those petals. So that's their food source, and just in abundance. So they'll secrete, if you happen to have one of them land on you and you sort of swat at it, or you move it and it feels threatened, it will secrete a liquid called cantharidin, which is known as a blistering agent, and it can give quite a nasty blister that raises up on the skin, and unfortunately, if you pop that blister and that liquid sort of moves onto another area of the skin, that area will also blister. So they are quite hard to deal with, and something that is relatively common here at the moment. So we are always cautious of swatting at bugs, because you never know what harmful chemicals they have. So at least the net-winged beetles have got the nice sort of black and orange coloration, but these don't. In Afrikaans, they're known as a rooikoppie because they've got a bright red head. So we're going to send you over to somebody that's also got some more small things to show you. See what else we can find.
All right, so welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, where, as you can see, we are still in the riverbed. Looks like I'm playing in the sand here. So a lot of flowers in the riverbed, actually, this time of year. And we just wanted to take a moment to quickly show you this beautiful pink flower in front of us here. So this is called devil's thorn, and they usually grow on the sides of the riverbed. Lots of beautiful pink flowers, and where the name comes from, because I don't know if you can get one of these thorns. There's one over there, there's one here, but you can see why it's called a devil's thorn. It's got two really nasty spikes on it, and it's quite an interesting plant. So it's got quite a unique foaming property, and people used to use it for a shampoo or even a hand wash. Now I'm going to show you So I just picked some of the leaves here. So if you add a little bit of water to it and you rub it together, then I don't know if you can see that, but it creates almost like a jelly foam, and you can wash your hands or your hair with that. So I guess if you're stuck out in the bush and you really need a bath, this is what you should be looking for. And now I'm full of soap and I have to get this off. Right, I think we're going to continue down the river and see what else we can find. Right, we're gonna send you back to Lauren at Juma.
One of my favorites. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but we have a tick. And it's one of the larger species of ticks. We call them rhino ticks. And it's definitely, well, let's just say it's definitely not small. You can see it clinging onto this leaf here for dear life. And ticks, they really do have a bad reputation. Of course they do. But you have to try and look at it that they perform quite a vital role in the animal kingdom.
If you need extra hands.
Sorry about that. Every organism does. Every organism has a place, and that's why when one is wiped out, it has quite a knock-on effect on everything else. Sometimes we don't even realize what that knock-on effect is going to be. And ticks are ectoparasites, which is exactly why people don't like them. They don't go into the body of their host, they stay on the outside, and that's why they're called ectoparasites. And of course they can transmit all sorts of diseases. One of the famous ones out here is tick bite fever, which is a bacterial infection, and it's transmitted by ticks, and that's why it's called tick bite. And basically there's different types of tick bite fever that actually occurs in Africa, including South Africa. And you get MSF, which is Mediterranean spotted fever, and it's normally transmitted by ticks from dogs. So you'll find it in sort of urban areas, and it can, well, brings on illness. You also get African tick bite fever, and this is transmitted by both cattle and game ticks. You normally find this in game reserves, like where we are right now, or even in rural sort of farming areas. Sorry, you didn't catch that name, but you're saying you love learning about all these insects. I know, it's fascinating. But I do understand why people feel a little bit repulsed by ticks. Now, they're arachnids, not insects, because they've got 8 legs. And there's lots of different species of ticks. This is one of the bigger ones. You get specialized ticks that jump on reptiles. You get specialized ticks that jump on mammals. A lot of people think that ticks only feed on warm-blooded mammals, but that's not the case. A lot of reptiles, birds, amphibians will all have ticks, believe it or not. And ticks find their host by scent. Through scent. You get eyeless ticks, believe it or not, that never see. And they hang on to a piece of vegetation and they do something called questing. Questing is when they put their 2 forelegs, the very front ones, up in the air, and they're waiting until they get a sense. Some chemical body odor, maybe even heat, moisture, vibrations. Once they sort of sense that, they will quest and jump on really, really quickly onto their host. And then they will scuttle across their host, trying to look for the softest part, maybe even ears or softer parts of skin. For a leopard, that might not matter, but for the likes of an elephant, they will head to the ears and the genitalia, the area where it's softer, and they're able to latch on. Some tick species, believe it or not, they are specialized in recognizing shadows. So once a sort of shadow falls on them, they'll know that there's a host species nearby that they can latch onto. And some ticks, not all, what they'll do is they'll actually secrete a small amount of saliva, which has anesthetic properties. And that means that the host species will actually not feel the tick attach itself, because they've been anesthetized. And therefore they can go completely unnoticed, and then once they've fed on the blood, they'll just drop off and they'll prepare for the next stage of life. Fascinating. So I'm going to continue my search for the small stuff, but for now, let's head over to Andrew.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, ticks is all they do. They do their best. Their actually life cycle is very fascinating. But yeah, we got also a species that all ticks likes the most. With all impalas that you can see on the background, they carry ticks as well. Those type of ticks. But so cool that they have somebody who can help them, which is the bird that you often see with this antelope. As an oxpecker, they work very well on cleaning animals. Here we were on search for probably any of our dogs that will be around here, because we not far from where they left saw them moving into the bush. Now finding the antelope, they're all chilled, but they're all actually looking around, but not alarm calling at the moment. Is that maybe they haven't heard or seen any sign of danger around here? Kim, so you're saying this is quite a big herd? Yes, indeed it is. And it's always worked better for them when they get around together, because then, for their own safety, it's important that everybody will look out. Some of them, they will groom each other just like those one. You can see how Turk turns. After she's done, she'll wait for probably regroomed as well. That's how it's so important being in a group. You rely on each other there. Love one another, care of each other. So I'm still in the area. I'm gonna do a loop around here, see what is on the other side.
The new year has arrived, and with it comes all kinds of other new beginnings. From hyena cubs to meerkat pups, the bush is full of new life. If you want to find out more, then sign up to be an explorer and join our New Beginnings Fireside Chat. Tristan and Steve will be looking at what's new here in the wilderness as we enter 2021. Join them on the 17th of January, straight after the Sunset Safari. For the month of January 2021, we are offering a chance to win a unique WildEarth expedition to the magnificent Tswalu Kalahari. From the ancient Kortai's Koranenberg Mountains to the southern Kalahari's red sand dunes, Tswalu offers what travelers crave most: space and time. The winner will explore this landscape in a vehicle, on foot, or on horseback, with a chance to go behind the scenes with WildEarth and of course meet the meerkats. The prize includes a 3-night stay for you and a friend at the luxury Motse Lodge, including flights from either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Open to all WildEarth explorers who have signed up before the end of January 2021. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
Last insect of the day. I think we have a pale ranger here, a butterfly species. It's actually walking along the ground, which is quite remarkable. It's hidden behind this leaf for now, but let's just stick it out and see if we can get another view. I think it's the pale ranger. You can see the antenna. And just to finish up on ticks, I said there's an eyeless tick. How on earth does that work? But what it does is it actually climbs onto a grass stem and it awaits. It sits and waits, and what it's trying to do is smell for butyric acid, and that sort of comes from mammalian skin. So once they get that odor from all their chemoreceptors, they know there's a mammal nearby that's going to become their host species, and they latch on. So experiments actually show that this arachnid can go 18 years without food. 18 years! Wow. So in this time, it has ample time to meet a mammal, if you like, land on the victim and gorge themselves on the warm blood. And once she's feasted on the blood, then they can lay their eggs and die. So it's an absolutely fascinating life cycle, one that looks slightly impoverished compared to ours. But there was a fascinating book that described this eyeless tick that said, there you were there all along. And now you've landed perfectly on this WildEarth indica. You see? Just on this plant right here. I think it's the same pale ranger. So in our perception, we think this life is, well, not a great one if you're waiting, shall we say, 18 years for your next meal. But there was an incredible article that said maybe the tick's simplicity is its strength. Maybe her goal is really well defined, with no distractions. She knows what she wants, and that's how the tick survives. So you've just got to change your perception slightly. I think we're feeding on nectar. You see that? This pale ranger's got his proboscis unfurled. You see the proboscis? It just curled it back up. And it was drinking the nectar on this WildEarth indica. Attracted most likely to the bright colours and the smells. How lovely. What a very diverse drive, I must say this. I think through all the live locations, there's been such a great diversity of organisms today, from the little to the large and all in between. We've been very lucky at the Juma side as well, which means we may get a chance of seeing Hukamuri this afternoon if he comes back our way. And of course the Pungwe pack of dogs are around. Butterflies are just wonderful. Moving its hind wings there. But thank you everyone for jumping on board. It's been an absolute pleasure to host you on the back of our vehicles. Please do join us this afternoon. Goodbye.